I was halfway under the bathroom sink when Leah dropped the bomb. She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, not even looking at me, just staring at the mirror like she was rehearsing lines. I had the wrench in my hand, trying to fix the busted cabinet hinge, when she goes, "Dawn, I've been thinking, I don't think we're working anymore." I didn't even pause, just kept turning the bolt. Then she says, "You're kind of in the way of the life I'm trying to build. I feel like I'm settling." I stood up slowly, wiped my hands on the rag I had stuffed in my pocket. She was still avoiding my eyes. "Settling, huh?" She nodded like this was some TED Talk. I need someone more driven, more on my level, you know? My friends keep telling me I can do better." I didn't say anything for a second, just looked around the tiny bathroom we'd painted together last spring. She was wearing that smug little half-smile, like she was freeing herself from some burden. I set the wrench down on the counter. "I understand." That's all I gave her. She tilted her head, surprised I didn't argue. Then she smiled bigger, like she'd just won some secret battle. "You'll have a few months to move out. No pressure." I blinked. "Come again." She shrugged. "I mean, I figured you'd need time to find something. I'll try to stay out of your way until then." It took everything in me not to laugh. The house was mine. I bought it 5 years ago before she even moved in. She never paid a cent toward the mortgage. But I didn't say any of that. I just nodded once, walked past her, and went into the kitchen to grab a drink. She stayed in the hallway, probably waiting for me to explode. I didn't, because right then, I already knew. She wasn't just walking away from me. She was walking away from everything that came with me, and she was about to find out exactly what that meant. I didn't say a word that first week, just kept showing up to work, kept making coffee in the mornings like nothing had changed. Meanwhile, Leah was out here acting like she just got drafted into the damn lifestyle league. She started posting selfies every day. Done-up makeup, push-up bras, captions like, "A woman with high standards knows her worth." I'd scroll past them while eating leftovers on the couch she used to love curling up with me on. Then came Tyler. She didn't warn me, just brought him home one Friday night while I was watching the game. Walked in like I was some ghost haunting the place. "Tyler, this is Dawn," she said, grabbing his arm. "He's just staying here temporarily." I didn't even blink, just nodded once and turned back to the TV. Tyler smiled like I was the doorman. "Nice setup, man." He looked about 26, too tight blazer, pointed shoes, gelled hair. One of those guys who probably used words like synergy and brand alignment without cringing. I knew the type. Junior real estate analyst, Leah had told me once. Big future, no foundation. That night, I started moving my valuables out. Didn't say a word to her. Just rented a storage unit across town and started packing the stuff that mattered. My grandpa's old coin collection, the framed photo of my parents from their wedding, my dad's socket wrench set. Every time she went out, I loaded a few more boxes into my truck. While she was playing house, I was prepping for the handoff. I booked a meeting with a real estate attorney named Carla. Middle-aged, sharp, didn't waste words. I laid everything out, how I bought the place 5 years back, how Leah never signed a lease, never paid rent, not once. "She has no legal claim," Carla said, flipping through the deed. "Not even a toe to stand on." "Good," I told her, "because she's under the impression this is her kingdom." It didn't take long to list the place. I didn't want to sell. I liked the house, but I wasn't going to sit in it full of ghosts. I wanted it lived in, appreciated. So I put feelers out for renters. Found them in less than 2 weeks. Marcus and Lila, early 30s, married 5 years, just moved from Kansas City. They toured the place while Leah was gone one afternoon. She thought I was running errands. They walked in, loved the kitchen, asked about the garden. We talked for an hour over lemonade. "This place has heart," Lila said, touching the wall by the fireplace. "Feels like a real home." By the end of the week, we signed a lease. 6 weeks out. Carla handled all the paperwork. Leah had no clue. She was still walking around like a queen, buying new throw pillows, getting her nails done, making TikToks about leveling up. Tyler came over more often, sometimes stayed the night. She didn't even bother hiding it. Every time she strutted through the door in heels, I smiled to myself. Let her keep thinking she'd traded up. She hadn't realized yet. I was never the one holding her back. She just assumed the ground she was standing on would never shift. The day she brought home that giant gold-framed mirror, I knew she'd officially lost the plot. She leaned it against the wall in the living room, turned to me with this smug little smile, and said, "Doesn't it make the space feel more curated?" I didn't answer, just nodded and took another sip of my coffee. The same living room I paid for, the same wall I patched and painted myself, now apparently part of her vision board. Then came the candles. Every end table, every windowsill, lavender, sandalwood, ocean breeze. She bought throw blankets in neutral tones, started stacking coffee table books she'd never read. One of them was called The Art of Reinvention. Fitting. She walked around like she was staging a damn home magazine shoot. I walked around taking inventory of what was still mine. Most of my stuff was already in storage by then. All that was left was a couple tools in the garage, the bedroom dresser my uncle built by hand, and a small safe with documents she didn't know existed. Meanwhile, she was busy playing decorator. I told my mom I'm turning the guest room into an art and light therapy studio, she said one morning, eating yogurt at the counter like she paid for the granite. I need a space to create, to breathe. I stirred my eggs. Sounds healing. She didn't catch the sarcasm. Tyler was over damn near every weekend now. They'd sleep in, then make brunch like they were some picture-perfect couple. She posted a photo of their pancakes once and captioned it, "Sundays in our home." Our home. I wanted to laugh. She started calling the backyard our garden. Planted a basil sprig in a pot and acted like she had a green thumb. I watched from the window while she told Tyler about the little patio set she wanted to buy. "He said I could have it?" she told him, pointing toward the grass like I wasn't inside watching the whole thing. "It's just sitting there." I had already signed a lease on a one-bedroom downtown. Brand new building, 5 blocks from the office, gym downstairs, secure parking. First time in years I'd be living completely alone. She thought I was still apartment hunting. Thought I was dragging my feet, maybe holding on to hope. One night she caught me coming back from a storage run. "You should really figure something out soon," she said, arms crossed like a landlord. "You don't want to be that guy who overstays, right?" I smiled. "Wouldn't dream of it." She went back to watching her crime documentary like she hadn't just dismissed me from my own property. Let her redecorate. Let her rearrange the furniture. Name the garden. Paint her dream world all over my walls. She had no idea the clock was already ticking. The next Tuesday, Leah had a hair appointment. I watched her leave in that oversized jean jacket she thought made her look artsy and independent. 10 minutes later, Marcus and Lila pulled up. They were right on time again. Organized people. Lila brought a notebook with sticky tabs and a pen tucked behind her ear. Marcus carried a measuring tape and a small level, like he was born ready to mount a shelf. "This is even better than we remembered," Lila said, walking through the front door like it was already hers. I gave them the full walkthrough, pointed out where the old plumbing had been replaced, showed them how to open the tricky window in the guest room, mentioned the neighbor's dog only barked at mail trucks. They loved it, every single inch. "We'll take good care of it," Marcus said, gripping my hand with both of his. "I know," I told him, and I meant it. They were gone before Leah got back. Not a trace left behind, except one folder I accidentally left on the kitchen counter. She noticed it the second she walked in. I was in the backyard wiping down the grill when I heard her call, "Hey, what's this?" She stood by the counter flipping through the packet Carla gave me. Copy of the lease, move-in checklist, signatures, even the pet agreement. I'd meant to take it back to my car. Too late now. She held it up. "Are you selling the house or something?" I dried my hands on a rag, leaned against the doorframe. "Everything's being handled." She tilted her head, suspicious but trying not to show it. "Okay." Later that night, I passed by her bedroom while she was on the phone with one of her friends. Probably Tiffany, the one who wore fake Chanel and thought therapy was a personality trait. She laughed softly and said, I think he's finally moving on. He's growing up. I'm proud of him. I stood there for a second, just outside the door, listening. She really believed it. She thought I had been the one holding on, that I was the one who needed to accept things were over. And now, in her head, I was finally stepping up, finally getting out of her way, like she'd wanted all along. She had no clue what was actually happening. Not a whisper of an idea. I went back to my room and zipped the last duffel shut. Everything personal was gone now. All that was left was her, playing house in a place that was already promised to someone else. And she was about to find out. None of this had ever been hers to keep. Sunday morning, I woke up to the smell of burnt pancakes and fake enthusiasm. Leah was in the kitchen, dancing around in a silk robe, flipping half-cooked batter onto chipped plates while Tyler sat at the table pretending this was some kind of cozy couples tradition. She kissed his cheek and said, "Next weekend, let's get a new coffee table to match our couch." Our couch. The one I paid for in full, carried in myself, and reupholstered after she spilled red wine on it during game night last year. I didn't say a word, just took my travel mug, nodded at Tyler, and walked out the front door. The driveway was still cool from the night before. I popped the trunk and started loading the last of my stuff. Just a couple boxes. Tools, some clothes, and the safe. 10 minutes later, the moving truck pulled up. Big, loud on the dot. Marcus and Lila got out first, dressed casual but professional, like people who understood contracts. Carla followed behind them in her black blazer, holding the lease folder in one hand and her phone in the other. And then came Scott, the property manager I hired last week. He had the keys and the welcome packet. We all started walking up the driveway like it was a planned parade. Inside, I could still hear Leah laughing. "Tyler, babe, you burned the second batch." She giggled like this was her damn honeymoon suite. Then the front door swung open. She stepped out barefoot, still in that robe, holding a spatula like a prop. Her smile dropped instantly. "Can I help you?" Lila was the first to speak, calm and cheerful. "Hi, we're the new tenants. We just signed a lease." Leah blinked like someone had pulled the air out of her lungs. "What?" Before she could process, Carla stepped forward. "Leah, I'm Don's legal representative. I'm here to confirm the transfer of possession. You're not on the deed or any lease agreement. You have no tenancy rights, and legally, you need to vacate the property today." Leah's mouth opened, then closed. She looked over at me, still by my car, calm as ever. "Don?" she asked, like maybe I'd explain it away, like maybe this was a prank or some clerical mistake. I shrugged. "Everything's being handled. Remember." She turned to Tyler, who was now standing behind her looking lost, holding a plate of half-eaten pancakes. "Wait, what is this?" she snapped. Scott spoke up next. "Move-ins scheduled. We'll need you to clear your personal belongings within the next few hours." Leah's face went red. "You can't do this. This is my house." Carla cut in sharp. "It's not. There's no record of ownership, no lease, and no rent history under your name. You've been living here as a guest. That arrangement is over." She stared at all of them like she was watching her life collapse in slow motion. And for the first time in weeks, I saw it hit her. Really hit her. This wasn't some power move. This wasn't me being petty. This was me finally flipping the switch she never thought I'd touch. Leah turned to me one more time, voice cracking. "You blindsided me." "No," I said, closing the trunk. "You just weren't paying attention." Leah didn't step off the porch. She just stood there barefoot, robe flapping in the breeze like some rejected movie villain, dialing my number while screaming at me across the lawn. "You're a coward. A cruel, heartless coward." My phone buzzed in my pocket. I let it ring once, then picked it up while still looking straight at her. "Hello," she yelled into the phone and across the yard at the same time. "You blindsided me. You're throwing me out like trash." I kept my voice steady. "You said I was out of the picture, so I stepped out. The house goes with me." She froze, just for a second, like that line knocked the wind out of her. Tyler had been standing behind her awkwardly, arms crossed, face twitching. He finally spoke up. Wait, what do you mean the house goes with you? Leah turned around fast. It's complicated, okay? I didn't think. So this place isn't even yours? He asked, eyebrows raised. You told me this was your house. No, I didn't, she snapped. I said I lived here. You assumed. I assumed because you introduced him as your roommate. He shot back. You made it sound like he was the one crashing here. Leah looked panicked. Tyler, can we talk inside? He stepped back. I think I'll wait out here. Leah stormed inside and slammed the door behind her so hard. One of her precious candles fell off the windowsill. 30 seconds later, she came back out with an armful of clothes on hangers, dragging a suitcase behind her. She didn't look at me again. Just popped the trunk of her little red Corolla and started tossing things in like she was late for a flight. I leaned against my car, arms crossed, watching her unravel one piece at a time. She stood in the driveway, frantically calling people on speaker. Friends, co-workers, even her mom. Mom, I need a place to crash tonight. No, it's not what you think, he blindsided me. Okay, well I didn't lie, I just… Click. Next call. I just need a few nights, Ashley. You've got that guest room. What do you mean your boyfriend moved in already? Since when? Click. One by one, they turned her down. Nobody had space. Nobody wanted drama. Nobody believed her version of the story. By early afternoon, she was sweaty, mascara smudged, still barefoot, slamming her trunk closed with a final thud. The last thing she grabbed was that gold-framed mirror she was so proud of. She tried to slide it into the back seat, but it didn't fit. She shoved it twice, then gave up and left it leaning against the mailbox. She didn't say goodbye, didn't look back, just got in her car, slammed the door, and peeled out like the house had burned behind her. I stood there for another minute while Lila and Marcus finished signing the last of the forms on the porch. Carla handed over the keys. Scott waved me over to finalize the handoff. I nodded and walked up the steps, past the mirror, past the fading tire marks, into a house that finally felt mine again. And just like that, Leah was gone. After the handoff, I didn't hang around. I shook Marcus's hand, wished Lila good luck with the rosemary plant she'd brought, and drove straight downtown. No music, just me and the road. The condo building was only 5 stories tall. Nothing flashy, but clean, tucked on a quiet street 5 blocks from my office. The door clicked behind me that first night, and for the first time in months, there was no voice waiting for me. No high-pitched laughter echoing from the kitchen. No second toothbrush I didn't buy. I sat on the couch, still in my jacket, and just breathed. It was smaller than the house, sure. No yard, no garage, but it was mine. Every light switch, every drawer, every damn square foot mine. Next morning, I walked to work for the first time in years. Stopped at a corner spot for coffee. Got to the office before the lights turned on. I didn't even realize how much noise I'd been dragging around until it was gone. By the end of the week, I was cooking again. Real meals, nothing frozen. I started going to bed before midnight, waking up without an alarm. On Thursday, I got a text from Lila. Herbs are already sprouting, seedling Marcus says hi. Photo attached. 3 small clay pots lined up on the windowsill, labeled basil, oregano, and thyme. Same kitchen I'd cooked in 100 times, but it looked lighter now. Like the house had finally exhaled too. I smiled and typed back, "Love to see it. That place suits you guys." Then I opened my phone's gallery. There was still a folder marked Leah. Over 200 pictures, weekend trips, backyard dinners, selfies from the couch, blurry shots of pancakes she once made on a Sunday morning. I scrolled through maybe 5 of them, not because I missed her. I just wanted to remember how blind I used to be. Then I hit delete. The whole folder disappeared in a second. It was weird how light my chest felt after, like some part of me had been clenched without even realizing it. Not rage, not revenge, just tension. Finally gone. She'd taken up so much space in my head, quietly, constantly. Every plan, every decision, every day shaped around her moods, her dreams, her drama. Now it was just me. And for once, that was enough. I wasn't sitting there grinning like I'd won anything. I didn't feel victorious. There was no trophy, no big finale, but I wasn't tense. I wasn't waiting for the next argument, or walking on eggshells, or checking the time wondering if she was coming home late. I was alone, and I was free. About a month later, I ducked into a coffee shop a few blocks from the office. It was raining, I'd left my umbrella at home, and I just wanted something hot to wake me up before a long day. The bell above the door jingled when I walked in, and I shook the water off my jacket. Then I saw her, Leah, behind the counter, hair pulled back in a messy bun, no makeup, wearing a black apron that said grounded and grateful. She looked up and froze. I didn't flinch, just stepped forward like I didn't used to know every inch of her. She tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and cleared her throat. "Hey, hey," I said, scanning the menu even though I already knew I'd order a latte. She punched a few buttons on the screen. "Didn't expect to see you around here." I kept my tone light. "Didn't expect to be here. Rain got me." She gave me a small, tired smile. "It's a good place. Steady job. Pays the rent." Her eyes didn't meet mine. I nodded. "Steady's good." She handed me my drink in silence, then looked down at the counter and said, "I didn't realize what I had back then." I let that hang in the air for a second. I could have said something sharp, could have rubbed it in, could have reminded her how she introduced me as her roommate and tried to redecorate a life she didn't build. But I didn't. I slid a 20 across the counter for the $4 latte. She blinked at it. "That's. Keep the change." I took the cup, nodded once, and turned toward the door. "Dawn?" she called out as I was pushing it open. I looked back. She still wouldn't meet my eyes. "Good luck," she said quietly. "You too." The rain had picked up a little, but I didn't care. I just walked. I didn't feel bitter. I didn't feel smug. I didn't feel anything at all, really. The woman behind that counter wasn't the same one I'd once made pancakes with, or built a life around, or trusted to watch over my grandfather's tools. That version of her, the one I thought I knew, was gone. And I was finally okay with that. After that day in the coffee shop, things just got quiet. Not in a lonely way, just peaceful. My routine was simple now. I walked to work in the mornings, earbuds in, coffee in hand. I hit the gym afterward, nothing extreme, just enough to burn the edge off. Came home, cooked dinner, caught a game or cracked open a book. Lights out by 10. No drama, no guessing games. No one talking in circles or picking fights just to feel something. Once a month, I swung by the old house to check on things. Marcus always met me at the door like it was still mine. Lila offered me iced tea the first couple times, then just started keeping one ready. The place looked better than ever. Garden thriving, porch clean, tools hung neatly on the wall like art. They respected it in a way Leah never had. Marcus handed me a jar of homemade pickles last time. "Can't thank you enough for this place. You're the right people for it," I told him. Meanwhile, I'd been setting aside the $800 I used to throw at the mortgage. Every month, like clockwork. Quiet little stack building in the background. I was thinking about a solo trip in the spring. Maybe Colorado. Maybe Arizona. Somewhere with sky and space. People kept asking if I was dating again. "You back out there? Got any prospects? You ever miss having someone around?" I didn't lie. Not in a rush. Truth was, I didn't miss being partnered up just for the sake of it. I wasn't chasing connection to fill space anymore. I didn't need someone to make me feel like I mattered. Turns out, when someone tells you you're not enough, walking away might be the best thing you ever do. And I didn't mean walking away from the argument. I meant from the whole damn illusion. The wait, the constant proving. The way I'd let someone shrink me down so they could feel bigger. Now I cooked meals I liked, wore what I wanted, left the thermostat wherever I damn pleased. I took up the whole bed. I didn't apologize for existing in my own space. It wasn't about being alone. It was about finally being whole. The other night, I was grabbing a beer with my buddy Shane after work. We were posted up at our usual dive. Quiet, dim, solid wings. He took a sip of his drink, glanced over, and hit me with it. "You ever miss her?" I didn't answer right away. Just let the question hang there between us while the jukebox played some half-decent Tom Petty cover in the background. Then I said, "Not really." He raised his eyebrows, waited for more. I missed the idea of what we could have been, not the actual version we had. Because that's what it came down to. The dream of a partnership, of building something real with someone who had your back. That's what I missed. But Leah? She was never in it for that. Not fully. She wanted flash, movement, momentum, someone with a bigger title, a fancier car, a louder ambition. I gave her the freedom to go chase that. What she didn't get was that being solid doesn't mean being small. I'm not a showboat. I don't need to shout to be worth something. Stability is a strength. I used to think I had to keep proving I was good enough. Keep giving, keep adjusting, keep shrinking just to be acceptable in someone else's fantasy. But the truth? I was already enough. And I didn't need to slam doors or burn bridges to prove it. Sometimes the best response isn't revenge. It's silence. It's clarity. It's a clean exit. I walked away from that house with nothing but a truckload of my own stuff and a lease in my hand. Now I've got peace. I've got my own space, my own rhythm. My mornings are quiet. My nights are calm. No raised voices, no tension, no second-guessing everything I say. And someday, maybe, I'll share it with someone again. But not because I need to. Because she'll see me. Really see me. No fixing, no molding, no trying to upgrade me like I'm a half-finished project. Just me. As I am. That's enough.